Hello, welcome to My Life on Paper, where paper and pictures tell my story. I'm Brianna. And welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, where every Friday we have a different recipe or sketch. I actually chose this sketch myself. The recipe, let's see if I can remember, is stencil, texture paste, and thread or lace. Um, and I took the sketch from Scrap a Sketch. It was a birthday celebration sketch, and there was like recipes for that, and I chose 5 as per the request. The 5 were stamp, two photos or more, thread, black background, and enamel dots or jewels. So you can see here that I've already got my black background. I've trimmed down this blue is Creative Memories paper. It was just a piece of scrap that I had. The striped paper that I've already trimmed off the wood grain is from Echo Park, and it's from the Beach Day collection. It's from 2016. I do have the rest of the collection. And I am here, I'm traveling for 3 weeks. I'm at an Airbnb, and I could only bring that one suitcase of stuff, so I was hesitant to back the photo because I do have white cardstock, but I don't have a ton of white cardstock. So instead, I distressed it with my scissors, the outside, and I think you can see that maybe on the video. You can see it much better in real life. So I am taking a Lail by Mail stamp set, and I'm taking mustard seed distress oxide, and you're going to see that there's a little spot that doesn't ink, but the back side of this close to my heart mat is nice and spongy. So once I do that, it gives a full impression. I probably didn't line it up exactly, but I'm not really worried about that. So this is like a two-step process for the stamp. That stamp set, that stamp says the view, and then it has like 5 stars under it where you like color in how many stars, which I would say was a 5-star view. And then the next one I'm going to stamp, I'm going to use All That Jazz by Catherine Pooler, and it's like a turquoise color for my next one. And that one is more like it's kind of like well, like, I don't know if I guess not a postage stamp thing, but it has lines on the outside, and then it says adventure on one side and travel on the other. And then once I do that, I'm like, well, this is really blank. What am I going to put on the inside? And so I go back to the stamp set, and it's got all these little icons. So I knew I had to choose the sun. But once I pull out the sun, it would have looked a little bare if I just stamped the sun in the middle because it is so small. So I decide to stamp it off to the side and bring in at least one other icon. So that's what you see me doing here. And then I do decide I want to do a geotag, so I'll do that next. And once I get the geotag, I'm looking at, I want the up and the down ones because now that I have the geotag, then it matters how I stamp it. Um, I have space for almost one extra. I mean, these are all overlapping, but I stamp an arrow, a little arrow onto there as well. So it's got a lot going on, but that's okay. I will go off camera and trim all these out and then come back. I have a Vicky Bouton stencil for my stencil that I'm going to be doing. The texture paste, I have Nouveau um, paste, glimmer paste, and it's in a gold color. I really was so hesitant to use this stencil. I thought it should be something smaller, like more repeating, but I thought, when are you ever going to use this stencil if you don't use it now? So I get out the gold and I randomly, I didn't want to do them like exact. So I cover some of it, I pull it up, and I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to do the same thing where it's going to fall below the photo. So I'll bring that out to measure. And then, yep, that. I'm going to move it over to the right a little bit. And then, so I'll do in the right corner and I'll get some more of the paste out. And I'm doing a really good job on this gold paste. I think I do better with like neutrals. I obviously would use more than some flashy colors. So um, it would be super exciting if I could use this up because I know I have 2 other glimmer pastes with me and they are not anywhere near used up like this. And then you can see the distressing on the outside of the photo. So now I can start to assemble my page. The texture paste is mostly dry. I have my adhesive foam tape that I'm going to use to glue what I stamped as the middle of a flower. I have a lot of white flowers on my trip here, so you might be seeing a lot of those in my videos coming up. On the sketch, on the right side of that photo, there are 3 florals. Now you can use any embellishment. I just happen to have florals. And it has 2 small ones and a big one. I have 2 big ones and a small one. But then I decide I do need a middle to that flower. Oh, and you can barely see it, but I stamped another sun. And I did it in a coral color. Down below, I will have the playlist for Mixed Media Mayhem, and that's a continual playlist, so it goes back a long, far way that you can check out what everybody's been doing with Mixed Media Mayhem on Fridays. Um, Sometimes it's a sketch, oftentimes it's a recipe. I also have Lisa Sikorsky and Scrap a Sketch listed below. And that's where I got this sketch, and there's a whole bunch of sketches there. And that's on Facebook. So, did I talk about I have only one large photo rather than the 2 like 3x4s? I used a 4x6, which, a sketch is a jumping off point, so you can use it and change it however you like. So I have my texture paste, I have my stencil, I have my black paper, I have my stamping, and next I think I'm gonna work on the thread. I did take some embroidery thread and kind of put it into a bunch. I've met the requirement of 2 or more photos, and then the only other thing I'll need to add is enamel dots or jewels. So here I'm working with the kind of the thread, floss, and I wanted it kind of in a circular pattern. I have some Vicky Bouton items that is from Bold and Bright, so I'm pulling those out. Um, that's the clip and those ephemera pieces there. Then I'm trying to figure out what I want to use and where to put it. I do know I want to have some journaling, so I'm thinking about using that tag for the journaling. I was having a hard time getting that tag to work, and really I wanted to stick with the colors that were in the stripes on the right-hand side, and that green isn't. But as I twirl this around, I'm thinking it's not going to work there. So what I did was some white strips, just like there is in the sketch. And there's only 2, so I used 3. Um, we were in Florida for a vacation last year. It was very cold at the time we were there in January. And these are some pictures we got of the family in front of this sunset. I'm going to use that clip and I'm going to tuck the thread right behind that clip. I've never used like a thread like this, like bunched up. Like I've sewn with the embroidery floss, but I've never just bunched a bunch of thread up. But I do like this look. I could see doing it again. The yellow ticket that I'm using up in the left upper corner says only bright days ahead, and then that title there says stories to tell. And I'm gonna adhere that right over the photo. There is there's that beautiful sunset, but there is some space around that I'm not afraid to cover up a little bit. And sometimes it's just adds a little bit of fun to overlap things onto the photo when you're not covering up important pieces. I didn't like the way that the stenciling just stopped there, so I decided to bring another flower over by the journaling to cover up the space in between the journaling and the stenciling. But I will adhere the journaling lines down with liquid glue. It's much easier. It's because the ATG is thicker, so it's a little harder to manipulate on those little pieces. And then two, if I don't get it down exactly straight, I can move it around a little bit before it starts to dry. In the middle, I do have a gold um, enamel. It's not enamel. Uh, what are the prompts? Enamel dots or jewels? We're going to call it a jewel. It brings a different shade of gold in. We've got the glimmer paste, which is more of a brassy gold, I guess you'd call it. And then this gold, which is
a gold, and then I'm gonna use splatters that's almost more of a yellow gold. So we'll have 3 different shades of gold, and I thought 3 was better than 2. So here is the Dina Wakley uh, spray and gilt. And so then I think I was just kind of lightly putting it on, not sure how I was going to feel about it with the different shades of gold. So when I decide, yep, this is going to work, I'll get a little bit more on then. I did also use those gold jewels um, around the floral clusters on the right. So there's 3 over on that side. And there is the completed layout. I want to thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and please come back and see me again soon.